Welcome to my unidentified channel. Let's get straight into it. Today I want to talk to you about a lot of miscellaneous things that I have come across in the Laurie Daybell and Chad Daybell case. I want to talk to you about the last text message Tylee Ryan sent from her phone. She had a friend back in Arizona that I guess they were best friends, and when she left, I guess they communicated. So she left on September 1st. The last text message sent from Tylee's phone to her friend was October 25th. The friend says that she reached out to Tylee on October 19th and sent her a text. I don't know what the text message said that her friend sent, but Tylee responded on October 25th at 11:14 a.m. The text message Tylee sent said this: "Hi, miss you guys too. Love ya." The friend said now that Tylee's gone missing and she wasn't even sure if it was Tylee that was responding, which we know it probably wasn't. The friend said she spelled out her words for the most part, plus she would have texted more if I reached out, which the friend did reach out. The friend also said when she lived here, she responded immediately, and when she moved, it slowly decreased in response time. Tylee moved on September 1st. The last text the friend got from her, October 25th. The friend texted her on October 19th, and she said her response time slowly got longer and longer. How many text messages were sent? Were text messages sent after September 8th? And were responses received on those text messages? You would have to say they were, since she's saying that the responses got longer and longer apart and that one didn't really sound like Tylee. And how would she know they got longer and longer apart if they weren't corresponding the entire time? But now that we know the last text message received was October 25th, how many text messages went back and forth between the friend and Tylee from the time that she moved, September 1st, until the last text was received on October 25th. The next little miscellaneous thing that I want to talk to you guys about is the pool party. Laurie had a pool party on July 11th that evening, and we know Charles was killed that morning. Who was at the pool party? I haven't heard anybody saying, I was at the pool party and this is who was there and this is what we did and this is how everything went. Who was there? Who could have been there? Nobody's mentioned being at the pool party. Do you know who was there? The neighbors reported a pool party happened. Did they know who was there? I don't know. Miscellaneous stuff. I did find out some news about a question I asked in one of my other videos. I asked, do we know where Melanie P. and Ian live now? And I found out. I went through and I've watched the interviews and stuff over, and I found in the Melanie P. and Ian interview did with Nate Eaton, they speak of it in that video. It's in part 1 of the video. Nate says, can you tell me how you moved from Idaho back to Arizona? So we know they're back in Arizona. And then that is at the 6-minute and 29-second mark of part 1. And Ian at the 6-minute and 59-second mark says he wants the kids back in Arizona, or he would love to have the kids back in Arizona. Here, you can take a listen to what Nate and Ian say for yourselves. Here it is.
I want to kind of back up to hear a little bit about each of you guys, because there has been some limited information that's come out about each of you. But would you mind just telling me about yourself, how you guys met, how you ended up in Idaho and then back in Arizona? Ian, could you start?
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in Southern California, and I got married in 2010, moved to Idaho in 2011 with my ex-wife, Natalie. We had 2 kids together. So right now they're 9 and they're 7, Max and Lily. And they're fantastic kids. I miss them a lot right now. And I would love to get them down here to Arizona, but
So we know that they live back in Arizona, which we can come to the conclusion that Melanie then broke her lease because she signed it at the very end of October. And Alex would have broken his lease also because he had moved back to Arizona with Zulema. And Laurie would have broken her lease also because she moved to Hawaii. 3 leases broken out of the same family, the same apartment complex. It's just a little weird. Since we're on the topic of those apartments in Rexburg, my next thing is, did Alex really ever live in apartment 107? And I ask this because of some of the things I've come across. In the probable cause, here it is right here, let me grab it. In the probable cause affidavit of Detective Ron Ball, Item 7 says, Alex Cox resided in the same complex, initially living in the same unit as Laurie, and then moving into his own unit at 565 Pioneer Road, Unit 107, Rexburg, Idaho. How long is initially? And how do they know he initially lived with Laurie? Was somebody watching them in September? When Melanie Gibb and David Warwick went to stay with Laurie in September 19th through September 23rd, did they ever go to Alex's apartment and see that he lived there and there was furniture and it looked like somebody lived there? I would like to know if they did. Then it goes on to say that they have these pings on Alex's cell phone on where he was, and that he was in 107 and he was also in Laurie's apartment. And the night that he was in Laurie's apartment in the morning, early in the morning, like 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, that was the morning of September 9th. It says that's the only time in September that he was at Laurie's apartment from midnight to 6 a.m., I believe is what the affidavit says, or the statement says. How is that even possible if he initially lived in apartment 175 with Laurie? He would have been there in between midnight and 6 o'clock during the month of September because they moved in on September 1st. I don't know how they could come to the conclusion, unless he didn't live with Laurie, that he was never at that apartment between midnight and 6 a.m. In part 2 of Melanie's interview with Nate Eaton, she talks about her first encounter with Rexburg police. She says it's got to be early November, the first couple weeks of November, and they knocked on her door. And she didn't know the kids were missing. They didn't ask about the kids. They just asked if she knew who lived next door. It would be interesting to know that date of when they knocked on the door. It was my understanding they weren't made aware of the situation until November 25th, maybe, and then they went out and did a welfare check on the 26th. So why would they knock on Melanie P's door a week or 2 before they did the welfare check? If you know, let us know. Melanie P. says to the Rexburg police when they knock on her door in early November and ask, "Do you know who lives next door?" Her reply, and I quote, "I think Alex's name was on the lease. Sometimes my uncle goes over there and sometimes my aunt goes over there." End quote. What? Sometimes my aunt goes over there and sometimes my uncle goes over there? Who lives there? The question was, do you know who lives next door? When the sometimes Laurie isn't over there, where is she? And when the sometimes Alex isn't over there, where is he? Did he ever live in apartment 107? And did Laurie, we know it was empty on the 28th or the 27th of November. I may have my dates a day or 2 off. I believe the 26th of November was the day they did the welfare check. That's the day Melanie Gibb got the phone call. Don't answer the phone, remember? We know. So, do we know if apartment 107 was ever lived in? Who went in that apartment when it was furnished, when it looked like somebody lived there? Let us know. I've heard some people talk about they could pull video to see who was with Alex when he went to these places to eat, or can we look at the video from the barbecue place they went to when they left Yellowstone Park to see who went in? And a good point was made that usually video, people, places, stores that use surveillance, that video is recorded over after so long. It may be kept for 15 days or 30 days or 45 days. But we knew nothing about this case until way after the kids were missing. So if any video could have been retrieved and watched, I don't know that there would still be any video left when they were actually able to go and know to look for the video. It had probably already all been recorded over. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think they have video from those places? I also want to talk again about the pings on Alex's cell phone. Do they have pings from Laurie's cell phone? Do they have pings from Chad's cell phone? What about all his kids' cell phones? And what about Tylee's cell phone? Would it match the pings of Laurie's cell phone? Did she have it the entire time? Here's another little something I found. Have you heard of Reverend Donna Serafina? I hope I said her name right. If you haven't heard of her, check her out. You can find her on YouTube. Just search that, Reverend Donna Serafina. She's a psychic. She put out a video back like 7 months ago, way before the kids were found. And she did this psychic reading. It's about a 2-hour video on YouTube, and she talks about what happened to Tylee and JJ. And it can be very disturbing, but she nailed it. She absolutely nailed it. She spoke of Tylee being dismembered and being burnt. She spoke of JJ being in garbage bags and duct taped. She spoke of being by a body of water, maybe a pond, a river, or a lake. She spoke of them being on the same property but not in the same grave. It's very interesting, very disturbing. She nailed the details that we have already heard, and we will probably never know exactly what happened, but please check her out. Melanie P's interview with Nate Eaton in part 3, she says,
We're just ready for it to be done.
It's been a huge stall, Nate, and unfortunately COVID's been pushing things back, but the most disappointing thing was when we had a family custody hearing finally for the Boudreaux case with our children. Brandon didn't show up. I don't know where he was, and later on seeing him on TV a few days later, front row at Laurie's hearing, waiting to see if they can keep her in jail longer and not reduce her bail. That's upsetting. Where were my kids during then, and why is he leaving them, and why are they not the focus?
Didn't Melanie miss a court date back in November? I saw that somewhere and I can't find it now, so if you know, let me know. And if you know the next court date for them coming up, let me know. The next little miscellaneous thing that I want to talk to you guys about is who was taking the pictures at the Chad and Laurie wedding. Do you think that they were paid off not to talk, not to say who they were? Do you think the police know who was taking those pictures and have talked to them? Do you think that they will be subpoenaed to court? Who was taking the pictures of the wedding, of them dancing on the beach? Do you know? If Laurie gets new clothes to wear to trial, who will bring them to her? Who do you think would take time out of their day to bring her new clothes? I mean, let's say her mom wanted to go buy her a new outfit. Would that be possible? Is that allowed since the court said she would need to provide her own clothes? Could her mother not provide her with a new outfit? Not saying that her mother would, just saying if she wanted to, would that be allowed? Let's go over some important dates that we know are coming up. October 29th, 2020. Joinder. Will they join the two cases? What do you think? November 24th, 2020. Change of venue. Where do you think it's going? Chad Daybell's pre-trial conference is scheduled for December 10th, 2020 at 10:30 a.m. And Chad Daybell's jury trial is scheduled for January 11th through January 29th, 2021. Laurie Daybell will have a jury trial on January the 25th through the 29th on the 3 misdemeanors she has in Madison County. February 25th, 2021, 10 a.m. Pre-trial conference for Laurie Daybell's jury trial. And the jury trial for Laurie Daybell is scheduled for March 22nd through April 2nd of 2021. We will find out soon if those two cases will be joined together. I am working on a timeline for this case, and right now it's just all kind of jumbled together. I'll show you. This is what I got right now, and I want to put a timeline together, and I also want to put a crime board together. I'm not real familiar with doing a crime board, but I think it would be really fun, and I think it would be neat to be able to show you. If you have any ideas about a crime board that you can share with me, please feel free to do that. I would also like to ask if my voice is better. Can you hear it louder? I have hooked up a mic and just want to check with you guys to see if the sound is a little louder than it has been. The next video that I'm going to work on is going to be a how to defend that. Like, how are you going to defend this that she said? Or how are you going to defend this picture, or whatever. So that's the next video that I'll be working on, so stay tuned for that. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Ooh, I wonder if I messed that up. Okay. Oh, messed that up.